Senior strategic analyst, retired four-star General Jack Keane. General, this administration and this Democratic speaker are not on the same page. How does that make us look?
Well, I think right from the beginning, the reason why this thing got spun up so much, obviously there was a leak that Pelosi was going to visit Taiwan, and that leak came from this administration, somebody who was obviously opposed to it. But really what happened, it spun the crisis, is when the president made the offhand remark in response to a question walking out of the room where he said that, well, the Pentagon doesn't favor it, or the United States military doesn't favor it. That wasn't a completely true statement. They just provided some of the risks that were going on. They didn't say the visit shouldn't take place, but that spun up the PRC entire propaganda effort as a result of it. Why? Because they saw an opportunity here, a division in the United States government, and an opportunity possibly that they could get the United States to stand down the visit, and that would give them a huge propaganda victory. So that's really what started this crisis and heated it up so much.
So right now we understand Bloomberg reporting that the State Department and White House is furious with the speaker for doing this. They try to convince her and say it wasn't, she shouldn't do it. And they get the sense that she wanted to do this for her career capstone because she knows she's about to lose her job. If it's for personal gratification, that would be absolutely awful. But I don't think China should be telling us what to do. Right now we understand they have 5 separate exercises basically surrounding the island. And one rocket just went over the island for the first time. Do you believe this is a dry run for an invasion?
Well, the D-Day invasion is what everyone looks at. That's an amphibious invasion, an air and missile attack, and obviously likely a parachute and helicopter assault on the island itself. That's a formidable undertaking. It's the most dangerous one, obviously, because the reality is that Taiwan's in danger of losing their sovereignty. But the most likely one is actually an adjunct to what we're seeing here. And that is some kind of quarantine or quasi-blockade where you deny air and maritime access to Taiwan, let selective access go through so the population isn't starving, and put huge pressure on Taiwan and its allies. And this is sort of in keeping with their playbook. Remember, they genuflect to Sun Tzu, who is the preeminent military strategist, many of who in the United States follow, as I have as well. And the #1 principle for Sun Tzu is defeat your enemy without having to fight them. And that is their playbook they've been executing: intimidation, coercion, all of this pressure to force Taiwan to capitulate to mainland China's control, and they're not going to do that, obviously. But yes, this is sort of a rehearsal. They haven't done anything like this since 1995 and 1996, when the president of Taiwan visited the United States, and a similar reaction took place, not on the same scale as this. But listen, Brian, the way to handle this is not to stand down in any way, is to further commit to Taiwan, make sure we accelerate the arms and munitions that they need. We learned that lesson in Ukraine. Make certain we're sending military leaders in to coordinate potential military plans on how to defend Taiwan, and we don't do that. We self-deter ourselves. This is a symbolic, important visit that Pelosi's conducting, but a more substantive one would be military coordination with our military leaders and Taiwan's leaders, and that doesn't happen. We self-censor ourselves.
It's nuts, and I hear your frustration, General, because we see this car crash about to happen, and we're not even bracing ourselves. Thanks so much, General. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's Will Keane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Keane podcast for full episodes right now.